Welcome back to Sea of Galilee, DSMME, and we're going to do an early one on my patron saint, St. Andrew. And I want you to know that his feast day is November 30th, but by that time we will already be into the Advent season and therefore into our Jesse tree that you already are fully aware of. So today we're going to talk about the great St. Andrew. He was the very first apostle, number one, numero uno. And when Jesus called him, he goes and gets his brother, St. Peter. So what would the church be like without these two brothers? Imagine what their parents are thinking in heaven today as they look at two of the apostles, and one of them being the very first one, and realize that's their sons. St. Andrew is a tremendous saint. Why did I take that name? Because of my Saint Daddy. I think he is in heaven, and the two of us are just like this. And his name is Andrew, Andrzej in Polish, which we are. And so I love St. Andrew. Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee, and he stopped. And St. Andrew with John the beloved, they must have been younger, they must have been full of energy, they must have been curious. Their brothers were out fishing, and here these two are following like a dream, which became the reality of Christ himself. And they stop and they say, "Where do you live?" And then they go and follow him. I love St. Andrew. Not only did he give his entire life, he brought so many more people to God. So if you read the Gospels, you will see St. Andrew was the one that kept bringing people to God. But I wanted to read to you what he said, because the apostles were martyred, as you know. So when it was St. Andrew's time, and they're bringing him the X-shaped cross. The X-shaped cross is where he was crucified on. It says, a large crowd gathered, saying, an innocent man is being condemned to shed his blood without cause. But Andrew begged them not to save him from his martyrdom. He cried out, "Hail, O cross, sanctified by the blood of Christ and adorned with his limbs. Now you draw down love from heaven and are accepted as a blessing. O good cross, honored and beautiful by the limbs of the Lord, long desired, constantly loved, ceaselessly sought, now prepare for my wishful heart." Having said these words, he shed his garments. The executioners put him on the cross. And for 3 days he lived, and he continued to preach to everybody that would come. And he ended up being such a spectacle that they decided that they wanted to just kill him, kind of like they did Christ on the cross, like pierce an arrow through his heart or something like that. And they just said, okay, there's too many people gathering. He's getting too many people to love God. So the soldiers came and they were trying to free him, but it says they could not even touch him. Their arms fell powerless at their sides. Isn't God just great? Isn't it just so wonderful to love God and to be his daughter, his son? All you Andrews, blessed feast day. And I'm going to end with this from the Magnificat, as you already see. St. Andrew, who once cast your nets upon the Sea of Galilee, show now your skill in catching souls and save us from the world's wide sea. You were the first to find our Lord and led your brother to his feet. So help us on our life's weary way. Befriend us in its dust and heat. True brothers in your work on earth, your crown of glory is the same. Both fathers of the infant church, both crucified for Jesus' name. St. Peter's brother during life, not even death your souls could part, since both endured the bitter cross with patience and courageous heart. Beloved St. Andrew, so dear to Christ, help me, help us to run the path of love, that we may all God's praises sing, united in full joy above. On this blessed feast, which we're anticipating, of the great St. Andrew, which means strong, bring your family, your friends, everyone you know, closer to God. Stay on the Sea of Galilee, DSMME, in the heart of Mary next to her son.
This Advent, the Dominican Sisters of Mary, Mother of the Eucharist, want to help prepare your hearts and your families for the coming of Christ. Join us on the Sea of Galilee as we participate in the age-old tradition of the Jesse tree. Each day we will walk through the Old Testament, marveling at the way in which God prepared his people for the coming of the Messiah. You can purchase your Jesse Tree Advent Journal and our community's book about vocations for a special deal at Go LE Press. Blessed Advent and Merry Christmas from our family to yours.